President Trump is sizing up the new year during a working weekend at Camp David. Mr. Trump and Vice President Mike Pence are gathering with Republican congressional leaders to discuss their legislative agenda for 2018.
Before leaving the White House Friday, the president touted gains in the stock market and claimed his tax cut bill is going far beyond what anyone thought possible. But the release of a new book detailing the inner workings of the Trump White House is serving as the latest distraction for the administration. Errol Barnett is at the White House. Errol, good morning.
Good morning. President Trump is taking all his power players to Camp David this weekend. Vice President Mike Pence, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, Defense Secretary Jim Mattis, and CIA Director Mike Pompeo will all address the administration's priorities, while Senate Leader Mitch McConnell and House Speaker Paul Ryan will address plans on the legislative front.
We're going to Camp David. We have a lot of things to work on, a lot of things to accomplish.
President Trump is hosting a retreat at Camp David to discuss his 2018 priorities.
We're making America great again.
The White House says among the weekend's topics will be the economy, national security, military funding, infrastructure, and immigration reform, including funding for a border wall.
We're cleaning out towns of those MS-13 gangsters. That's why we're calling on Congress to fund the border wall, which we're getting very close to.
CBS News has confirmed the administration wants Congress to allocate approximately $18 billion for funding of a wall on the southern border and enforcement measures.
We will build a great wall along the southern border, and Mexico will pay for the wall.
Top Democrat Nancy Pelosi called the $18 billion in funding alarming and urged party members to speak out. Since the Trump administration ended DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, Democratic leaders have been negotiating additional border security measures as a way of passing the DREAM Act, a more permanent solution. In a statement, Senate Minority Whip Dick Durbin said the border wall demand is outrageous and makes a government shutdown more likely, adding the White House was putting, quote, its entire wish list of hardline anti-immigrant bills on the backs of these young people. Before leaving Washington, the president ignored questions about his former chief strategist Steve Bannon, who was quoted making damaging remarks about Mr. Trump in a new book, Fire and Fury, inside the Trump White House. Last night on Twitter, the president called the author Michael Wolff a total loser and said his former ally Bannon begged for his job when he was fired. The president added, now Sloppy Steve has been dumped like a dog by almost everyone. But in an interview this morning with the BBC, Wolff stands by the content of his book and believes its revelations could ultimately harm the Trump presidency.
The story that I've told seems to present this presidency in such a way that it says he can't do this job. The emperor has no clothes. And suddenly, everywhere, people are going, oh my God, it's true. He has no clothes. That's the background to the perception and the understanding that will finally end this presidency.
Now, one cabinet member not invited to Camp David, Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Mr. Trump has openly criticized him, and the New York Times reports Mr. Trump sent a lawyer to dissuade Sessions from accusing himself from the Russia investigation last year. But the Department of Justice denies that report. Alex?
Errol Barnett at the White House. Thanks, Errol.